welcome guys to the Smite bonus update patch notes. We'll be talking about the changes for next week on November 2. So basically we got a few new skins. These are nice. We saw them in the update show already. But I wanted to add in a quick patch rundown, or maybe a little bit extended patch rundown, so we can discuss what's in store for us. First of all, we have the Spectral armor nerf. This is an indirect buff to hunters, since they are lowering the crit damage reduction from 60 to 55%, and also the physical protection goes down from 65 to 60. And the problem with this item, also it's not just the damage reduction itself, it's quite costly for tanks to opt for Spectral armor. And yeah, this is pretty much welcomed nerf. It's nerf to tanks. Of course, when you go Spectral armor, it's not the only armor item you have to build in order to make it properly work. But yeah, it's an indirect buff to hunters. So I pretty much welcome this one here. It's really great, and I think that should have been coming a long time ago, but yeah, it's Iris. And so I would assume that we're favoring crit builds at Worlds pretty much, also until the next season lands. So this is a really good nerf, an indirect buff for hunters. Next up on the list is a set nerf. This is more or less a minor nerf. Basically, the dash damage from his spawns are going down when you use Skewer on it. I'm not absolutely certain if this will push him out of the duo lane. But I think that's only a handful of people who are playing set ADC anyways. Will it hurt him a lot in the jungle? Most likely not. He will still be good in the jungle, so I wouldn't be concerned around that. And then there's the Nike nerf. This was really much needed, because this is one of the most broken, also it's a nerf to her ultimate, the Sentinel of Zeus, and this is one of the most broken warrior ultimates in the game, for real. So they are nerfing the HP gain from the shield from 50% to down to 40% max health. And yeah, that's quite a significant nerf to her kit, and that's a very much needed nerf to her kit, considering how dominant she has become in the solo lane. And it's also just crazy how much damage Nike can take in the late game with this ability, and it's not just the health increase. It's also the 6 second slow on it, and pretty much also the damage when it goes off. Then we got a Cthulhu Nerf. Yeah, I would say this is more or less a minor nerf. Yeah, increased max health in his ultimate from 35 to 25%. It's not a game changer. He gets a little bit less powerful, but I think he still does a very decent job at yeah, disrupting the backline, diving the backline, and or tanking them. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't. I don't see him not being picked up anymore. He's still being played quite frequently, even after this nerf. It's the same with Seaver. The base damage, this is hardly noticeable. I don't know. This is like a 10, 15, and a 20 base damage nerf on Seaver. Seaver is his one in the ultimate form. Yeah, the ability hits for quite it hits for quite some. As I mean, damage being dealt by it to a squishy is probably still hurting. But this nerf is not the end of the world. This will not force him out of the game. By far not. The next nerf, and I have been waiting for ages to have this happen. They are starting to nerf Odin, and Odin really does need nerfing. This is just insane how oppressive this god is in the solo lane. It pretty much started with the boots removal, so Odin could rush CDR items like mad, like there's no tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know, Breastplate of Valor, or if the matchup, or if he got ahead, then even Jotun's Wrath was a possible rush. And what I really like is that they nerfed the cooldown on his ultimate. But this had to be done. There had to be done something about this. It's pretty much was just running at people on cooldown, and now and now this is a little bit more toned down with 110 base in the early game, and then gradually hitting the 90 seconds mark again with 40%. Yeah, with 40% CDR, which you have in the late game. It's okay. That is fine, but seriously, this ultimate in the early game at 90 seconds doesn't seem like low, but essentially it was, especially in the mid game where you had your 40% cooldown reduction for the most part already. So yeah, this is a very nice nerf, and the next one is even better. That's probably the best nerf so far on Odin. They're nerfing the shield health on Raven Shout. That's a really cool nerf, and that's also much needed. Especially this is a significant nerf, especially in the late game. So it goes down from 400 to 340. It remains the same in the early game, which is fine. And then in the mid game, we are swapping. We're losing 15 health and 30 HP on Raven Shout. So this is also great. It's also a really nice reduction. Maybe they can look a little bit at Bird Bomb. Should Bird Bomb still clear the wave early game? Yeah, it should sort of clear the wave early game, but maybe they can adjust it so that it does more damage to minions and less to champions. Because it's I don't know, the early game is completely absurd on Odin, and even in the late game, the Bird Bomb on Squishy is just outrageous. If he gets a small lead, or he falls off at some point, and I think with the nerfs to Raven Shout, he will definitely fall off a little bit harder than now. But yeah, this guy definitely needs a little bit more fine-tuning, and they should have done that ages ago when they removed boots, since it's just completely insane to have this guy rush CDR. And then you can pretty much just it just wasn't fun in the solo lane for a long time playing against Odin, since due to his absurd early game damage and the ability to just rush CDR items. So next up we have a Umoja nerf. Yeah, I think this is really hurting her this time. Mending Waters is her too. So the shields don't stack any longer with itself. From previous fires of the same ability that is still on targets, it will instead refresh. This is really cool. I think this was necessary. Although Umoja is rather picked in higher levels of play, as I don't know, Diamond Plus or something. This is basically where she's at. I think in anything below that, was she really played? I have no idea. I don't play in that elo. And even if she was, I don't think people can tap into her full potential. But I still think we probably won't see Umoja at Worlds. But we have to look closely if that's the case. And also the bounce range is decreased from 50 to 40. This is also very significant. So she has to get more into the fray now, instead of just being sort of laid back. And you're probably also not hitting all of your teammates now, unless the 40 range is still quite a lot, and in team fights you should hit all your mates with Mending Waters. But this is definitely a good change. In higher elo and pro play, this was just a very oppressive support. The next nerf is also pretty nice, the nerf in Gap. If you recall it, they have buffed Cataclysm on the PTS, doing 720 base damage. And then before they released him to live, they toned it down to 630 base damage. So let's just talk late game damage here. And yeah, that was pretty much nuts. Completely insane. And so they're toning it down by significantly down by 80 damage. So basically, I probably won't have to ban Gap anymore. I probably won't have to ban him anymore. I mean, 550 damage is still a significant amount of base damage on this ability, plus 15% of current HP. But it's not that crazy at all. But it's not that crazy anymore. 630 was a lot, and if they had gone with the original plan, 720 base damage would have been was completely through the roof. I think I've played 1 or 2 games on the PTS with Gap, and this was just absurd, really absurd. And then they are paddling back with Ulla. So they're nerfing Bladed Arrow, that's his 1. That's a line shot ability. They're decreasing the physical power scaling from 80 to 70%. Will that have a huge impact? I don't think so. It still hits like a late game with his combo like a truck. It's just 10% less scaling on his 1. The problem is anyways that the mace items are way too good at the moment, and so there's that won't be that much impact having 10% less damage on his 1. And So basically, I think he's not pushed out of the meta at all. He's still, also he will still be more than viable. It's probably not as plus tier anymore. But considering his 3 has still 100% damage scaling, yeah, I can see. Yeah, that's still does a crap ton of damage even in late game. So maybe instead of hitting the backline for 2.1k damage, it's probably hitting the backline for 1900 damage, and that's still plenty enough to burst Hunter out of existence. So I don't see him at least not being played anymore. I think he will still have will still be in the game. People will still pick him over a couple other options. He's still the best ability damage hunter, even with the slight nerf here. Yeah, for the most part, the power, his power is coming solely from the maze. The maze items, maze tree, and since the maze tree wasn't touched in this update, at least, I don't think there will be games without an Uller now. I highly doubt that. So overall, this was the bonus updates, pretty good patch. Especially for hunters, I do like it. Some of the tanks got a little bit toned down. They nerfed Spectral armor, which is a very welcome nerf. Cthulhu Nerf is, like I said, what is rather insignificant, more or less. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be played anymore. In order to get Cthulhu out, you would have to completely gut his base damage, and that's simply not happening here. Nike nerf, really good. It's very much needed. Maybe will she not be picked up anymore? I highly doubt that, since 40% is still good. It's not as insane as 50% used to be, but I don't think she will completely be forced out of the meta after this nerf. Set still will be played, even though the nerf is quite good. I would have personally liked, would have seen more nerfs to set, but that's not what Hi-Res wants to do at this point. So so be it. And the best of all nerfs, it's, at least in my opinion, is the Spectral armor nerf. With the reduction going down by 5%, this is actually quite a lot. And also the physical protection going down from 65 to 60, so you have to invest in more physical protection if you're a frontline player. So this is pretty much welcomed. Then we got a few skins. So the Odyssey one's the Geomancer Persephone that looked really nice, and the update show the Nightbringer Demon Schipperlunky is also very nice skin in my opinion. The Build Builder Vulcan, I hope there's not too much in the chest I don't have yet, because I really like these. The style and the art direction with the pixel skins. I really like that. Candy Shop Achilles. I guess Harris is trying to get naughty, a little bit naughty. Sure, why not? It sort of fits his theme a little bit. What I probably didn't like was the spear being changed into a lollipop. That could have been something different. I know it's called Candy Shop Achilles, but was there any reason to add real candy to the skin at all? And it also didn't like the shield. I really did not like the shield in the update show. So that's it for the bonus update notes. Hitting November 2 on Tuesday next week. And yeah, looking forward to it. Really, really nice. And see you next time.